All right. Well, welcome in everybody to the Count Us In podcast. My name is Harry Sermon, and I'm joined only by Jamie Joyner today.
It's very sad.
Yeah, it is.
Good
Yeah,
morning, mate. How you doing?
good to see you, my friend. Yeah, good, doing well. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. So just quickly, Mr. Matt Lacey is not joining us for today's episode, as mentioned on previous pod episodes. The good sir is very, very busy with, being a full-time musician, gigging, working, teaching, all that sort of stuff, as we must do. But the house renovation is kicking into full swing, I guess we could say. And my head hurt from the voice message that he told us of all the jobs he has to do in what seemed like one day. And I just felt stressful about 20 minutes ago when we were chatting and about getting a call about getting my guttering fixed. So I can't imagine the the stress that he is going through. So yeah, he's going to be missing this one. But if you've read the title of this episode, we will definitely have to get his opinions on the subject at hand, perhaps in the next one. But yeah, so I'm not really going to say much else. I'm going to hand it over to you, Jay, because this is sort of your episode, if you will. We both don't have something new, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Though we are going to Graham Russell drums in a couple weeks.
I was about to say, are you going to just drop that in here just to let people know that there's this like impending?
So there could be something coming.
Yeah, we'll keep you all updated on that one.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And I think a friend of the pod, AJ, is coming as well, which will be cool. Anyone's welcome,
Yeah,
come and join us. Matt's always, of course, welcome. Slightly further drive for him. So
up in the north,
the
wastelands.
Yeah. So yeah, but anyway, yeah. So something new, not this time, but hopefully maybe next time. We shall see. But yeah, man, let's get into it.
Yeah.
The main topic, the album Plans by Death Cab For Cutie. Let's go for it.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is, I guess, if listeners have been sticking around for a little while, this is a continuation from our previous deep dive, which we did back in, I think it was like September or something like that. Like it's been a while.
Yeah.
Where we did Harry's album, which was Continuum by John Mayer. That was also an episode. Go check that out if you haven't heard that yet. But yeah, this is kind of an album which I thought I would like to bring and share. It's not like my favorite album of all time or anything like that, but it's just an album that I think as a drummer and as a musician over a long period of time, it's been an album that I've referred to a lot or keep coming back to, or certainly a source of inspiration. I think I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Harry, but I could probably say a similar thing for you.
100%.
It's one of those albums which kind of sticks with you, and I think that at the time it came out, which was, I've written this down, it was August the 30th, 2005. So at the time it came out, while I wasn't sort of listening to it literally at that point in time, I do think that it wasn't really anything that certainly hadn't really been coming out of the UK, but the drum parts and things were not anything that I'd really heard before, and the way that they'd been played and written. And I think hopefully we'll be playing some clips and things a little bit later on as well, the listeners can hear what we mean. But there's some really cool parts, and they've just stuck with me for a long time. And I know I've sort of said on the pod before that I wouldn't be able to cite many drummers specifically as an influence on my playing for one reason or another, but I think if I were to shortlist a few, Jason McGerr from Death Cab For Cutie would be up there, or certainly on the inspiration list. I would say.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, that's why we're going for this album. It's as I said earlier, it's out in 2005. This is their 5th studio album. The second album that Jason drummed on. So they did their Harry's got the vinyl listeners here for our visual listeners. Yeah,
there we go.
Very lovely, very
lovely stuff.
I certainly need to pick myself up a copy of that.
Yeah,
Especially after this
second
episode.
album he was on, isn't it? Because
Yes.
Transatlanticism was the first. Is that right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. And in my head, it's probably quite bad, but that was the first Death Cab for Cutie album in my head. And then,
Yeah.
but there is like technically a few that were
There's a couple
released
before
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one was, I believe, when they jumped from their sort of indie record label to Atlantic,
Yeah.
which is like obviously they're kind of, they started hitting mainstream
Major label.
with this
Yeah.
one. Yeah. So yeah, big label, and probably, I don't know if you'd agree, like her most famous song to date would be on this album.
Yeah, I think still their biggest song, I Will Follow You Into the Dark, which ironically has no drums on. I think that is probably still their. I think it's the song that everyone knows them by. If you say the band name Death Cab for Cutie, I think that is probably the song. I think it was used. They got played on a couple of shows, like I think the OC. They featured in the background, and they played either a song from this album or like an earlier song. I can't really remember. Maybe some people will know, but I think then, they started to get, sort of more traction from a few things like that, and obviously late night television and all that sort of stuff. Being on a major label, that's a sort of natural, promotion path, of kind of doing all that. And like you said, I imagine going from the clubs to the bigger rooms to the theaters to the, I think, to be fair, only really now, at least in this kind of country, over the last couple of years, they've been sort of doing the small arenas. Obviously they did the Transatlanticism / Postal Service anniversary, which was all arenas over here, which is great.
Yeah.
We've both seen them. I saw them in 2018 in a sort of smaller, what was in the O2 in Bristol, which is a couple of thousand cap, but it's not like the big sort of Red Rocks Theatre that they're kind of renowned for playing in the States, But I think I would say this has got their most commercial stuff, and this really kind of pushed them into that.
Yeah.
Which is funny because Transatlanticism has got a couple of those, but they still have that sort of like indie, sort of raw, unslight polished vibe. You know what I mean?
I think that I was kind of having a look into it in sort of preparation for the episode as well, and I think that, I mean, this album was produced by their guitarist at the time,
Chris Waller.
Chris Waller, and I think that his vibe and style is a little bit more of that indie, raw, unpolished vibe. And Chris, I think he left the band after Codes and Keys, or
after
2014.
Codes and Keys, yeah. And he produced all their albums, I think, up until that point.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you can kind of hear the shift in sound post that album.
Oh man, yeah. When you put on Kintsugi, which is the first album I actually got into from them, I mean, not that any of these albums sound bad in any way, but the guitar tones on Kintsugi are like to die for. You go from Codes and Keys into Kintsugi, and it is unbelievable.
And also, I think Codes and Keys is a little more, out of all their albums, I mean, it's one I've listened to the least, to be fair, but it's a little bit more electronic-y influenced, I guess.
100%.
Kind of, it's a little bit more out there. So I think that switch to Kintsugi was a bit more like, it was a return to old form, but also had this like production.
This new sort of shine to the sound. 100%.
Similarly, was super obsessed with that album, and some great parts on there as well. I can recommend most Death Cab albums.
Oh man, What was like the first Death Cab song that you heard? Like the first song that you got into? Was it from Plans, or was it from like?
It might have been. I'm pretty sure I would have heard "I Will Follow You Into the Dark" on TV somewhere, or on a series somewhere, like you sort of were saying earlier. I think I would have heard that, or just like, I don't know, like it was kind of early days of YouTube, and I feel that that was chucked up on YouTube, and it was like it's a very sad and depressing song, but it was kind of like the soundtrack to a lot of things. Just at that time. So I reckon that's probably the first one I heard, but wouldn't have known it's them. And I think it maybe would have been like, probably it might be even on their next album, which
Narrow
is
Stairs.
Narrow Stairs,
Yeah.
Grapevine Fires, I think, was
Yeah.
probably, just from a drummy perspective, I think
Yeah.
that might have been my hook in.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're a drummer and you know Death Cab, you're probably
Probably no
familiar
Grapevine.
with that. It's just beautiful sort of halftime shuffle thing that Jason does, which is very reminiscent of all the kind of classic halftime shuffle grooves, but he's kind of put his own spin on it. And I think I kind of got into that. I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then from there, I was just like obsessed with all their big songs, and then that grew. But yeah, similarly, I guess to you, wasn't like on like 2005, like full on albums and stuff like that. So yeah, it took a little while. But yeah, how about you?
Exactly the same. Yeah, Grapevine was the first song I got into. I was in a band at uni, and the singer was like, "Oh, you should." I can't remember what we listened to. She's like, "Oh, you should listen to this song," and played the Grapevine Fires, and I was like, "Wow, like this is great." And it was that time where I was like, any kind of song that had like a really cool drum groove, I was really into. As like when you're sort of playing, kind of starts to take that turn, and you start to get into those more advanced stuff. You are kind of like, oh, like I'm
what's happening.
Yeah,
these sorts of things. You don't just hear, oh, it's a shuffle.
Yeah,
you hear the nuanced parts of it, and you're like,
and I was
interesting.
I was all into the left foot stuff as well, and obviously that shuffle is so heavy around the left foot. Yeah, man, I was obsessed with that groove. And then I think I got Narrow Stairs, and checked out kind of the rest of that. I kind of do that thing where I was like, well, I'll just listen to like the song before or after Grapevine on the album. Left it at that for ages. Oh, I listened to it from the start, and then got to Grapevine. Like, oh yeah, finish it another time. Yeah. And then finally finish the whole album. I'd say it's not my favorite of theirs by any means.
The first half of that album is definitely, I think, stronger.
The best, yeah. You got like Kath and Bixby Canyon Bridge, and
all of these, like as you're saying them, I'm like the drum songs. Parts are just incredible on all of those. Like songs like Kath was great, and also
that's a great beat.
The bass lines I will give a little shout out to as well.
I'll Possess Your Heart, of course.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that was the first song I heard.
The
first song I heard. But if you want 10 minutes of the same bass riff and not getting bored of it, that's the song.
Yeah.
I could literally listen to that riff all day.
Well, there's, not to deviate too much from the album plans, but
wrong album.
So they recorded that at Jason's studio that he got built.
That's right.
And he engineered it a lot himself. And I Will Follow You Into, not I Will Follow You Into the Dark, Possess Your Heart, that song, I Will Possess Your Heart. The record is the second take they did, and they didn't play it another time, so they've only played that, recorded it twice. And again, another song, no cymbals, no crashes or anything like that. But it's funny though. Like we're obviously here to talk about plans, and maybe we'll get into some songs and stuff like that. And and maybe we could talk about Jason and his sort of gear and playing and stuff like that, because that has kind of evolved and changed from this time to kind of present and stuff. What is your said that this isn't your favorite Death Cab album? What is your favorite Death Cab album, if you had to pick one?
I think that it's hard because they fall into like the kind of new and like polished version, and then there's like this version, and so it's really hard for me to choose between those two. I think Transatlantism is my favorite early Death Cab album, and then I would say either Thank You For Today or Kintsugi. I don't know, I can't really choose between them. I think Kintsugi got me back into them again, and so that has like a kind of a nostalgic thing for me. But how about you?
I would actually, I think I'd say the same. Transatlanticism is my favorite, and if because I think there's a big sort of debate between fans of Plans versus Transatlanticism. It's sort of like
they kind of go hand in hand in a way.
They really do. They really do. And also as well, like that Ben obviously wrote Give Up with the Postal Service literally the same year, and those three are almost like a trilogy in some way. And I guess like Transatlanticism is like the last sort of like amazing bit of work from them as an indie band, but then Plans is like them still hitting their stride even more so, but on a major label and it being so much more successful. But yeah, I think transatlanticism is my favorite. Such a hard word to say.
I know.
Although I don't think, upon reflection, that's why I didn't actually. I nearly went to the tour very last minute. I remember texting you about it.
One.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but because what I don't like about transatlanticism is the track list. I really think the track list, like the way it is in the order, the sequencing of the order, that it really doesn't work. I don't know, like it's so weird. But I think it's because they play that song last and always have done.
Yeah,
and it's like the middle of the album, and it's like so weird. But yeah, that's definitely my favorite. And Kintsugi definitely holds a special place, being the first album that I really got into them.
Yeah,
and I've just got a lot of fond memories of like summer at BIM and really kind of getting into that stuff and really diving deep on his playing. And they played Glastonbury, I think, that year as well. And I remember watching their set, never hearing songs like Kath and probably Transatlanticism for the first time and seeing it live, and it was just like unbelievable. Like they had like a really short 40-minute set where they just went and went and went.
Bangers. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, thank you for today is really good as well. Yeah, really, really.
They just
good.
kind of continued in that. Like, just another. I think after Kintsugi, I was like, is the quality going to drop? Because it was such a great album, and they 100% delivered. It was just like a fantastic follow up.
I think also because like post Plans, you got Narrow Stairs and Codes and Keys, where I feel like it did drop. There's a couple of songs. There's more on Narrow Stairs than I'd say Codes and Keys. But Codes and Keys, like for me, has probably only got about 3 or 4 songs that I would actually go back to. And I think songs they don't even play. I don't think they really play anything from it.
Yeah,
I think they maybe played Doors Unlocked and Open, and that's about it. Which again is another long song. But yeah, man, Kintsugi and Thank You for Today and their most recent Asphalt Meadows as well are all fantastic. And they have a new album coming out this year as well, which will be amazing. And we're going to go see them as well, which will be cool.
Oh yeah, in September, that'll be fun.
So yeah, man.
Yeah, they're all great albums. I'm sure our listeners will be getting the vibe that they should be going and listening to all of these. They're brilliant, not only musically, but as we've been sort of talking about, which we'll get into as well, is some of these brilliant drum parts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, should we talk a little bit about Jason and just like his overall vibe?
Yeah.
And his playing, because he's, as I said, like I don't feel like he's one of these drummers that is like known for like I don't know, chops and kind of that sort of thing. Like he hasn't got like a signature vibe, but at the same time, like when I think of like he's like a drummer that's like a drummer's drummer in a mainstream band, which I really love. I really kind of, if you follow him on social media or you watch his videos, you can tell like he absolutely knows what he's talking about. He loves 100%. Gear. He loves. He's super into his sound, and he's a fantastic teacher and stuff. He teaches at like he's got like his own drum school, hasn't he? What's Michigan drum school or something
like that. Yeah, I think he did talk privately for years in a shop and all that sort of stuff, and still does. Is like associated with, like you said, like a university or whatever it is.
Yeah. So he's kind of all into all of that. And I just think that like he just completely plays for the song, and that for me is just such a good quality. And to be able to come up with these very original drum parts, and it fit the song just so perfectly. I've just always found really, really cool and really inspiring. So
I think it's interesting. Sorry, it's interesting. Just I think he strikes that near perfect balance of playing for the song but having a drum part, like, because they are very different things. And he does such a great job of getting something in that's technical for the drummers, that's got that cool edge, but just plays the song, never gets in the way of it, Bless me, cut that out. But yeah, he never. I've never listened to any part he's done and gone, oh, I think this is kind of overdoing it a little bit here. He's always so like uniquely precise. He could probably just play
like some busy parts as well.
And
it's like no, that was perfect. That's exactly what you need.
There's so many things that probably a producer could go, do you know what? I think this is a bit too much, but it supports the song in such a great creative way that
Yeah.
I mean, like even the Grapevine Fire shuffle, someone could have easily just said, can you just like play that normally and we'll put like a shaker over it. But
There's a video of him like breaking down that particular groove, and he talks
yeah,
about why he chose to do the stepped hi-hat,
yeah,
just because he wanted the sound of this. I can't remember what he said exactly, but it's like he wanted the sound of the chip and then the stick hitting
yeah,
rather than it being just two
da,
stick
da.
hits.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And he, I can't remember if he ABs it or not, but when you play it, and if you then play it, you're like, it 100% sounds different.
100%.
If you
Yeah,
played it any other way.
yeah,
And I think when I first started trying to learn it, I was obviously just like shuffling with my right
yeah,
hand and not really being able to shuffle. But that's how I remember it now. It's how I got into subbing out certain notes of the shuffle,
yeah,
like a broken shuffle with my left foot,
yeah,
was that song. And you can hear the difference sonically if you
massive.
really, really sort of like listening to the hi-hat part, especially. And he
I,
cares about that stuff.
yeah,
And you'll hear it as well, like it changes the kind of texture and the dynamics. And then I'll play some clips from this album, but
yeah,
there are very subtle little like accents, ghost notes, crescendos,
yeah,
and it just like you can hear it in there, and it's so subtle, and yet when you kind of listen as a whole, it's so
mm,
musical and just so well played, and it just
100%.
complements the song so much.
And I think that that strings in all of his playing across like all the Death Cab albums. I know he's played on obviously a lot of other stuff as well. But yeah, like I think the minute you could hear play on any Death Cab song, and you're gonna hear that like unique taste. Like even their new song, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a sort of like muted kind of tom groove.
Mm,
And even the way that he plays that, there's not a very sort of conventional way of sort of doing that. Um, and yeah, he very much is like a drummer's drummer. I think when Thank You for Today came out, he did like that whole cycle playing traditional grip, which I think he can generally play anyway.
yeah.
But I remember an interview of him, he was like, I wanted to just challenge myself and just do something different. And I want to play the whole show, all the tour, the whole cycle with traditional grip in the left hand. And there's a song on there, is it called Summer Years or something like that? Like the second song, like there's some really quick ghost notes on that. And it's quite sort of up tempo. And yeah, playing all that with traditional grip is
And I think
crazy.
like when you see them, like when you see any drummer playing with traditional grip,
Yeah,
especially in like a non-jazz context, I think
yeah.
every drummer in the room is going to be like, "Oh, okay, what's
Oh,
going on here then?"
yeah, yeah,
And we'll kind of
yeah.
be silently judging.
It's
So
almost like you need to quantify
yeah,
why have you made that decision.
yeah, I do think it is. I mean, great, obviously, if you want to like challenge yourself.
100%.
But it's not this sort of like, oh, I fancy playing traditional grip.
Yeah,
Like I think while that's a valid reason in a sense, I think that the song has obviously got, it will sound different if you play it match
yeah,
versus traditional, and I think that he's made a very good call. I don't think that it sounds wrong. When he
yeah,
does that, and the songs kind of lend themselves to that anyway. So yeah,
100%. And
fantastic.
am I right in thinking he was, um, I think around this time, I think he was Ludwig and Paiste, and then I think he was then Craviato and
Yeah,
Paiste, and is now, I think, post Kintsugi, and has been Gretsch and Thank You for Today. Because I remember when I think he signed with Zildjian and Gretsch just after the Kintsugi thing happened. Because I
yeah,
think
that
there's a
sounds right.
Zildjian video where he was like, "Oh, we've literally just finished making an album, and I already want to go and do it again because I've got all these new sounds and so on."
Yeah,
So I think that's roughly the timeline. But I think
yeah.
he said like I was always playing like my first pair of cymbals was Zildjian's, and I've still got them and all that sort of stuff. So
Just on the internet, I don't know how much to trust this, but it seems to be right. He's just like got listed what his hi-hats, or what's it, hi-hats, what his cymbals are for
yeah,
live and in the studio.
hmm,
And basically says in the studio it's all cropes, just all round, which I
yeah, yeah,
think is right. I've seen a lot of like studio videos with him using them, and
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
like 18, 20, and 22
yeah,
cropes, and then like 15-inch hats.
yeah,
So
yeah,
so jealous. Sounds amazing for studio stuff, and then live he sort of uses like Sweet Crash, Sweet Ride,
yeah,
I think he uses new beat hi-hats and stuff like that. So it's just a different vibe, which I could probably see like playing live with Cropes. I don't know. They're very different symbols to his studio setup, so his live setup. So
I think I want to say that when I saw him, he had basically like suites and Ks/As, which makes sense live. They project and that sort of stuff. But I want to say on the Transatlanticism tour last year, or whenever it was 2 years ago, I think that's when he had his Caropes, like full Caropes, because I think he went for a phase of having standard like hi-hat ride, 2 crashes, and then just ditching the other right crash and just having the ride in the thing. And I think that was when he was doing bigger Caropes of like 22 and a 20, because I think he was very much traditionally like a 18, 19, 20, 22 and 19 or whatever, and like not really kind of doing
smaller ones.
Which is interesting. Like I said, I guess also if that was around the time of Transatlanticism, that makes a lot more sense, because that's quite a sort of darky sort of kind of sound anyway. But it'd be interesting to hear if there's any. I know for Asphalt Meadows they did quite a lot of different sort of sounds. So it'd be really interesting to see like how that kind of approaches on the new album. But man, I mean, so, I remember I think I just got my Gretsch kit as well at the time, and that keys, I'm like, oh, cool, same kit as Jason, nice, same badge as Jason. But man, I mean, great sound, unmistakably great sound. He did like a live stream series in lockdown. I don't know if you ever saw it, where he had like guests, and different drummers on and stuff like that, and they just sat and talked about drums. He got Corey Fonville from Butcher Brown on, and a few others, and it was really great. And then Gretsch did a series over lockdown where they got like 2 artists to chat, and he got to chat with Steve Ferrone. And Steve was like, "Oh, I want to ask you about that song, I Will Follow You Into the Dark." Oh, great, amazing, great song. Like, you not gutted that you didn't, I'd love to put a shaker on that, or, he was like, why is there no drums? You're not gutted about that? And he was like, oh no, it's for the song. He was like, I know it's for the song, but come on, us drummers have got to get some work. There's a really kind of, you could see him kind of really taken back, like, wow, Steve Ferrone has done his work and has, found some of my music and stuff like that, because most of it is Jason just being like, oh my gosh, you're the best. But I'll maybe we'll put some of these links and stuff like that in the description.
That'd be cool. Just
we'll do the Grapevine breakdown as well and stuff.
I've also transcribed a little bit of that. So if anyone wants to have a go at that, then I've got my attempt at the transcription.
Nice.
And similarly, we'll play some snippets now as well. I've also got some little transcriptions of, I think they're the exact snippets that I've got, but it's very like, and this I love about him, he kind of has like I'd say a theme like of groove that he will embellish and sort of move around and change, and there's not like a locked in specific pattern. I mean, to my ears, that's what I'm hearing. So I've kind of like written them out, but they do change, and there's variations and things like that, and you'll hear that when we play a few clips.
He's great at like developing the subtleties, but never like almost like you don't realize. You kind of get like to the third verse or whatever it is, the second chorus, and you're like, oh, this is there's actually not the same. There are some very small details. He's very good at doing that.
100%. Well, I mean, I've picked out 4 little clips, which I thought, these are just cool drum parts, which I think kind of demonstrate roughly what we've been talking about. You've also got a couple of clips as well. Do you want to play those first, or?
Well, these are actually clips of me playing. So we were back and forth. We were talking about it. I think one of I think what's great about Jason as well, it seems like every album there's an iconic part, like the Grapevine Shuffle in on Narrow Stairs. On Codes and Keys, the song Codes and Keys, that I'd say it's the best song on the album for me. But the way that the tom groove that he plays on that, it's like so quintessential rock beat Tom's 101, but it's really not. Like I'm thinking about it now, and I kind of can't really figure out what he's doing. Kintsugi, Little Wanderer's got which is one of my favorite Death Cab songs. So
Fantastic,
much left foot hi-hat stuff, you know.
This lovely like delayed snare, I think he has in there
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Thank You for Today, like Summer Years, Your Hurricane, 60 and Punk, like
loads of good ones.
Asphalt Meadows, the title track, and that. Remember, we were going back and forth for ages, like, what time signature is that song in? You know,
yeah.
He's just got so many of these iconic beats every album. He does it every time.
Yeah.
It's like a hit single for the drums. You know, it's
brilliant. Yeah, it really is. Yeah,
but
there's a lot of stuff you can get into.
Yeah, but for me on this album, that drum part is at the end of What Sarah Says.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to get to it. Maybe we can hear the songs and I don't know, I can play it if you want. But yeah, so I've got a clip of essentially me. I was covering that outro of What Sarah Says.
Yeah.
Because I think it's deceptively quite tricky. And then I think there's me playing the verse of that song.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe have you got the actual
yeah,
what Sarah said? Yeah.
I've got the snippet from like that little interlude, the ending section.
Yeah.
And then I've got, I think it's like verse 3 or something.
Okay.
I've just like pulled it from.
We can A B. I think those are the same sections, so we can put me under the firing line here. Yeah. So this is me with that section, the outro. Yeah,
it's lovely.
That took me ages to get that.
Yeah.
I mean, that I should clarify for the listeners. That is probably about 3 years ago. Just a bass drum mic and an overhead mic. I've cranked.
That sounded great.
Yeah, it's not a bad sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that part, I think it's a flammed double mill.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
I think that's the rudiment. Because it's in 6, 8.
Yeah, what did I
was it a 3/4?
I thought this was in. I put it as like 12/8.
12/8.
It kind of goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2.
Because of the chord progression, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. And the bass drum kind of goes on the first one, and then it kind of gives a bit of space, and then it's a bass drum again. So yeah. It took me a while to like you over the years. You've been like, oh, this group, I've never learned to play it. I've just loved it, and then I've never really been able to understand what it is until I wrote it out just now. I was like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. And I think if you listen in on like the ride, for example, you can hear the pattern being played, and then it's kind of like shifted for the snare, and that's why it's
very it's the same pattern on each hand, but they're separated by the flam. So you've got but that's kind of what both your hands are playing. But like you said, one of them is offset.
Yeah,
but with the flam,
it's
like
they swap.
Yeah,
so your right hand is going like, well, the pattern is like right, left, right, left, right, and then it goes left, right, left. But with like unisons at the beginning. It's kind of like I was trying to think like a reverse paradiddle, but for the double paradiddle. It's like a reverse double.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, and starting on your left.
Yeah, because it's like also an alternated flam accent. So right, left.
Yeah, I get
right,
you. Yeah,
left, right, left.
Yeah. It's definitely that sort of vibe. Shall I play the original a little bit?
Yeah, let's hear how it should be done.
You know, I've only I think got about like 30 seconds of it, but let's listen. I mean,
unbelievable.
I don't know if it's the recording that I've managed to pull, but you really feel like you can hear the room, like that, just like the way that the vocals come in, and it sounds like the drums are playing like at the back of the room, almost.
down the hall kind of like vibe. Yeah, 100%.
It's great. I love.
He's also got like the splashed hi-hat, like a really light splashed hi-hat, and a very much off the head bass drum that was clearly, I mean, if you listen to the rest of the song, it's not like it's a different drum sound, I don't think, but it must be like quite a big open sort of bass drum. It's more of a sort of a thump than it is a kick, if that makes sense. But the splat, and I think that all kind of adds to it, and it's very low dynamic, isn't it, as well? You know, if anything, comparing like how I played it, I would say I'm very harsh on the ride, more so lighter on the left hand, but I think he's very much both of them. Because there's that big crash as well that almost makes it kind of go out of time. Because it has to kind of find his way back. But I mean, what an unbelievable song.
But then
it goes in. Sorry, goes into what's after it. Brothers on a Hotel Bed as well. After it, that groove is a joke. But the verse. Let's
hear the verse. It's kind of like a 4-bar pattern is kind of what I got, but like, or it like resolves after about 4 bars. You kind of feel like it resets, but I don't think he ever plays it identically.
No.
Do you want to do your version first? Do you want to play your one?
I think is this verse 3? This is the one before that stop, where it goes into that outro, right? Yeah,
I think so. Oh, I don't know if I've transcribed that.
No,
one, actually. But for your one,
I think that's right. Let's hear. Same drum sound. Something like that.
Those open hi-hats, man, they're so good. Like I mean, and they sound lovely on what were those hi-hats in that recording?
That was the 16 zildjian crashes, the K-duct thin bottom and the special dry top.
They sound huge in a good way.
Yeah, it's cool. I quite like the sound of that. That kind of vibe, I don't know, but again, roomy, sort of that kind of thing.
It complements what's going on the track as well.
But it's such a great part. Like you said, that it doesn't really repeat. I think the only thing that does kind of repeat is the dun dun ga dun dun ga. It's just really that. But even then, there's that flam in there halfway through.
Yeah, and he adds some fills. I think like the snippet I've got, I can't remember, but it'll be like he'll play the 4 bars kind of general groove, and then it's a bit where he kind of starts to add more to it. Afterwards. Sure. But let's have a little listen anyway.
Let's have a listen.
You can hear it. I definitely pulled it from the beginning of the.
That's the intro, but it is the same phrase, isn't it? Really, like I think there's probably just a few more embellishments. Verse 2, verse 3, and so on. But that's the groove, isn't it? That's the pattern.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's those. For me, the things that just make it this groove that I instantly remembered was this open hi-hat on beat 3 with no bass drum, nothing, and it just shuts, and that's it. And then also those really lovely little accents on the hi-hat. Not only is he kind of playing like all the way through, but then he adds them onto like the third or the middle part of the groupings of 3, and just kind of gives it this sort of syncopated feel. It's it's just such a creative way to write what he could have played that so like
Yeah,
completely differently, really simply, and I think any other producer or band member would have gone, oh yeah, that sounds great.
yeah.
But to play that instead, I'm like,
100%.
incredible.
100%. And I think also as well, like if you listen to the rest of the instrumentation, obviously you've got that triple E arpeggio going from the piano, but the guitar is just sort of going da 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 da, kind of accompanying that, and the bass
And
is just kind of
piano, yeah,
bomb
yeah,
bomb bomb, and there's all this space for him to sort of poke bits out, like you said,
yeah.
and
It's
then just
lovely.
that open hi-hat just goes. I mean, it lasts like a lifetime.
Yeah,
Talk
yeah,
about space between notes. I mean, that
yeah,
just the hang on. I can visually imagine him just leaning back and
yeah.
then coming back. It's that is an incredible demonstration of how he writes and plays drum
Yeah,
parts.
yeah, I think so.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, so for this album, I think if there was like one song where I was like, this is the one to listen to his drum part. I mean, there's loads, and we'll play a
Yeah,
couple more. This one's got obviously the two we've played so far. We've got that really cool verse groove we just did, and then that
yeah,
interesting sort of paradiddly flammy thing
yeah.
in the sort of interlude outro bit. So yeah, some lovely playing.
Which
Really, really
fades
nice.
out as well, doesn't it? At the end, it just
Yeah,
gets not like a live fade, not sorry, an automated fade out. It's a live fade out of him
they just sort of
slowly
get
coming
quieter.
off,
Yeah,
and he just like goes to sort of eighth notes on the ride, and then quarter notes, and then just slowly stops, and
yeah,
it's
I
fantastic.
love. Yeah,
It's
it's great.
fantastic.
Cool. Let's do another one. I'm just conscious of time as well. Let's
Yeah,
go
yeah,
through a couple more. So, what's the next one that I've kind of pulled out? Different names for the same thing.
yeah,
Is another one here. I was saying to you, I was not sure whether this was in like 6/8 or 3/4,
yeah,
because of the way that they mess around with kind of the meter in this.
yeah,
The rhythms over the top, but I settled on 3/4. Maybe our listeners can correct me or
yeah,
argue with me if they think differently. But yeah, I'll just play this one and we can kind of talk about the groove.
yeah.
Unless you have any little things
No,
you want to
yeah.
say.
Do you know what? This is why I think for me, Plans isn't in the top, but maybe it should be, because songs like this, they're not my favorite songs, but when I listen to them, I'm like,
Yeah,
man, this is,
need to
especially from a
listen
drum
as
point
well.
of view.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, another one, just very quickly, Summer Skin. I think,
yeah,
I mean, actually really love that song, but
yeah,
that's very rudimental. It's the same, what, maybe 3 bar loop or something like that.
yeah,
Mm, yeah, amazing. Crooked Teeth has got a great part as well. Mm, And I mean, Marching Bands of Manhattan, that's just a kind of quintessential rock kind of song,
yeah,
really, isn't it?
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, like, looking at just side A here for the vinyl, Marching Bands, Soul Meets Body, On the Skin, and Different Name. I mean, that is the heavy
Yeah, yeah. First one's
drum
so
part in the
brutal.
first half,
Yeah,
But yeah, man, there's some great parts. This is a great showcase of like the versatility, I think, with this song.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It kind of covers a lot of ground,
yeah, yeah. 100%. Cool. All right, let's do this. It's
Let's hear
different
it.
names for the same things. I think I can't remember if it's like the chorusy bit. I haven't written it down, but yeah, let's have a look.
There's like no drums for a while.
Yeah, there we go.
Great.
So yeah, I mean, it's kind of like this really syncopated kick and snare phrasing underneath, and then he's like playing on like a crash ride or a crash, and he seems to be sort of accenting like or highlighting an eighth note pulse sort of thing.
Yeah.
And there's definite like shaping to the dynamics on the ride rather than
Yeah.
just like hammering it all out. And then subtly there's like little like drags or kind of ghost notes at the end of some of the phrases that he just
Yeah.
slips in that
As like
are
a
so
fill
subtle.
almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then yeah, little kind of like little tiny tom flourishes and stuff. yeah, I think this is the bit where I was saying earlier, where it's kind of he plays it and then he starts to like embellish it more. I think he plays it a bit more straight for a longer period of time
Yeah,
earlier in
yeah.
the song. But yeah, he starts to sort of do stuff with it, and it's brilliant.
And what's so clever about that song? Like you said, it I didn't really realize it until you kind of said about the sort of timing of it, where if you were to mute everything but I don't know, let's say the singer Ben and the piano, it's very much 1 2 3 4 5 6 1
Yeah,
2 2 duh. But then you've got the bass kind of going bum
one
bum
and
bum
two
bum
and
bum
three
bum
and
bum
one
bum.
and two
Yeah,
and
and then
three
like
and underneath. Yeah,
in that outro, there's the like ba 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 ba, which is just like
yeah,
1 2 3 4, and you've
yeah,
got all that kind of it's very kind of polyrhythmic in that sort of way.
yeah,
But he's going to he's
yeah.
it's a wall of
It
a
is.
wall of
It is.
rhythms rather.
I love songs like that. That it's kind of it just feels like layer upon layer upon layer of different
Yeah,
timings and different textures, and they're all interesting. You can
yeah,
listen to any of those and just be like, oh, that against that part sounds interesting, but then when you swap it with another part, it sounds different.
yeah.
In a good way. So yeah, I
Well,
think it's a really clever song in that sense.
your ear can latch to almost like 4 different songs in that.
Yeah,
There's a lot to enjoy out of it.
yeah, and that song just starts with like piano
Yeah,
and
very
vocals,
slow.
and it's really slow.
Yeah,
And then it just kind of stops, and then the bass line comes in, and then he just does some light ride, and then he comes in full with that
yeah,
groove, and it just sounds huge. And
yeah.
yeah, brilliant,
Massive.
brilliant tune, that one. I really enjoy that.
What's
Um,
next?
let's do one more. So, well, I'm sure there'll be more, but we'll do one more clip to play. Someday You Will Be Loved. This is verse 3, what I've transcribed. It's, I think, 6/8. I think with this one, listen to the hi-hat stuff, as I was sort of saying earlier about like his dynamic playing. He plays like these 30-second notes on the hi-hat, like really quick flourishes, but there is an obvious crescendo to them.
Yeah,
And then he plays sometimes on the kind of the upbeat 16th, and then other times he's playing on the downbeat. And then he's got kind of this 8th note kit going all the way through. It's it's really hard to play, I think, as well.
yeah.
So let's just play a bit of that.
Very strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Very,
really
very
weird.
strange. Very actually reminiscent of the What Sarah Said groove.
Yeah,
In some way.
yeah, I think you're right. I think that the bass line as well is really interesting here. I remember when I first started getting into bass, I actually really wanted to learn a lot of Death Cab bass lines because there's some
great bass
really
lines.
memorable. I started off with playing I'll Possess Your Heart, obviously, because like once you've learned like the one bar, you can just do the whole song.
You got the whole song. Yeah.
You feel like you're like in the band. But yeah, like these are the sort of riffs that I would be learning because they're just really interesting. The bass tone is really interesting as well. But I also think like his parts went so well with it. And I think this is kind of, I don't know what it is, but it seems to complement it. I know it's the placements of the snare. That sort of thing.
It's very like rhythmically complementary to the bass, but also makes it its own like thing, and he very much ducks and dives, doesn't he, really?
And that's what I think makes him such a phenomenal drummer, because he 100%, as you said earlier, like he complements and plays for the song, and yet he's come up with this really original part that is kind of like, again, he could have played something very simple here, like it would have, I don't know, I don't think it would have sounded as good as this, but I think that's just because I know this exists. But
well, isn't there a part later in the song where he just kind of plays 4 to the floor with the hi-hat, like
I think you might be right.
Like, I don't know if it's the first time the drums come in,
right,
because again it's another one that starts I think with piano, and then kind of there's that like bam, and then dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
I think for like the
that's right.
verse 2 or
Yeah, he
whatever.
sort of like layers it in,
Yeah,
and these these 30-second note things he does on the hi hat, I don't think come in till later, which is the
yeah,
bit that I just sort of transcribe. But you can hear it even in in the second bar of this as well. There's like he just does 3, but you can
yeah,
hear how the first one is louder than the second 2 notes.
yeah, yeah,
And I'm like, it's so subtle, but it's perfect, you know.
yeah,
And that it's not just like chopping away on the hi hat, like to just kind of add more notes. It's
yeah,
just got so much shape to it. I should really put that in the transcription as well, but I just didn't do that.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, such
hard
a
to
wizard
capture.
of that. You know, I think everyone is hopefully, aware of dynamics and stuff like that, but I think he really takes dynamics to, a whole new level. Like the song that most recently comes to mind is it's from Asphalt Meadows. What's it called? I say it comes to mind. I just can't remember the name of the song.
You
That's not
remember
very
the
good, is
drum
it?
beat?
Yeah, I can because I remember him talking about it. He plays it on a Crash of Doom like super super quietly.
Yeah.
What is it? It's not Pepper. It is Rand McNally. That song.
Yeah.
He plays
Yeah.
it like so quietly, and he was like, literally, the mic is, like level with my head, low in terms
Yeah.
of over the cymbal, and I've got
Yeah.
this tiny like kids bass drum and all this sort of stuff. And
Wow.
I mean, that is commitment to the dynamics. I think
Yeah.
he was like, I used like I don't know, like a tiny pencil for the cymbal or something like that, and like a brush, and like it was.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, who's doing that on big, massive band
Huge.
albums
Yeah.
these days? It's
Absolutely.
insane, isn't it? But
Yeah.
yeah, his
This
attention to detail is in the dynamic front
yeah.
is
100%.
wild,
100%.
wild, and that's what creates the shape and sort of sound and the character of as all of his beats.
Yeah. And this
It's
is, as
never.
we've been kind of saying, like this is just a little snapshot of it. These
Yeah,
types of things are evident in all over their albums. I think especially these early albums, but
yeah,
I do think that the later ones still have them as well. I
yeah,
think you'll hear maybe less of the little like hi-hat accent type variations on the later
yeah,
albums. You just hear these really creative drum parts and things that you wouldn't typically expect.
yeah,
But I think this album in particular sort of shows off this sort of the level of detail. You were saying about this
yeah.
whole crash cymbal thing and the more recent
Yeah,
stuff.
I was gonna say I think the odd timey sort of over the bar line polyrhythmic kind of stuff. I think they probably kind of lost that sort of post this album for a little bit. There's really none of it on like Kintsugi or Thank You for Today and stuff like that. But it definitely made a return in Asphalt Meadows.
That's
There's
true.
quite a
They've kind
couple
of
of those.
gone back that way. Yeah, because there's
Yeah,
one in like 5, I think, as well. We were talking about.
yeah. I
Is there
think
one
it's
in
the
5?
title track because
Mm.
I think we were for a second we thought it was an 11,
Yeah,
which is really weird. But I think it is 5. But I think the drums. What makes it weird again is the drums that I think just play through that, but then like
it resolves later
reset
on.
it every
Yeah,
other. Yeah. So
yeah.
it's a
I mean,
great tune.
all of the songs that we've sort of gone through today, none of them have been in 4/4. Like they're all
No.
different.
Yeah.
There's been 12/8, it's been 3/4, 6/8.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're certainly not just like your bog standard, straight ahead like pop rock songs.
No. Yeah.
So yeah, they're super interesting.
Maybe we'll make a little playlist of like recommendations of the go-to McGerr grooves.
Yeah,
To
I think
check
that would be
out.
very cool. Yeah, because there's
For
To
people.
the Ground and stuff as well from that little EP. There's some
Oh gosh,
wicked
yeah.
Tom stuff in there.
Yeah.
But
Kids in '99 as well from that one with the little
cool
delay
snare.
pedal on the snare.
Yeah, man. Right, yeah. We'll get a playlist going.
Yeah.
And okay, let's sort of wrap this up a little bit. Just to
Yeah.
finish, what top 3 songs from the album?
From this album.
Yeah, let's just go with that. Like top 3 songs, maybe a little bit of why, and then yeah, we'll kind of.
Should we do like one after another? I'll do one, you do one.
Let's do that. Yeah,
I
probably have about 5.
Yeah, I was going to say I would probably say about half the album.
Yeah.
One, I'm not going to put these in any kind of preferred order, but I will say that my top 3. I mentioned it earlier. The song that follows what Sarah said after that outro that we played earlier is a song called "Brothers on a Hotel Bed," which, aside from being wonderful, wonderful song. It's got Fender Rhodes on it, which I'm a sucker for. So any song that's got Fender Rhodes always just takes that little, edge above it. But yeah, again, it's the groove. He kind of plays it open-handedly, which is really cool. And I've seen him play it live, and he doesn't play it the same because it is quite layered with sort of percussion and shakers and stuff. I think what is really clever is he's managed to come up with such a creative groove and then kind of enhance it with percussion and stuff like that, as you would in the studio. But then when he's played it live, he's somehow made it not the same, but better.
Yeah.
Which is really, really cool. Like, he plays it kind of with hot rods and all that sort of stuff. And I think it's just, yeah, it's got the accents, it's got the offbeats kind of snares and stuff like that. And it's a really zen kind of, well, it's one of those, once you've got it, you can just sit in it for days,
Yeah.
I might even go do that later on. You never know.
Yeah.
So that's one of mine. Yeah. Brothers on a Hotel Bed.
Great.
Second to last song. That is.
Yeah.
But, yeah. What about you?
So I'm going to say kind of two lumped into one, which is the first. Hang on, I'm just going to make sure I've got the track listing in front of me. Yeah, it is. Yeah, the first two songs on the album. Because Marching Bands of Manhattan, I think when I first started getting obsessed with this album, because it's the first one, it gives me this like nostalgic kick. And like when you hear that opening like organ sound, and his vocals come in with like this beautiful melody line, and then it kind of builds. It's got this wonderful little kind of keys line like later on, and then goes into Soulmate's Body. I think is just brilliant. And I forgot, actually, I've got the intro of Soulmate's Body, which kind of caught my attention, which you might have thought as well. So, why it's one of my favorites. But yeah, this is
such a happy start, isn't it, to the record?
But I think it was hearing that kick pattern, and he always did that like it's like 2/16 notes where he's like dum dum dum.
Did it? Yeah.
And I was just like, why is he playing that? It sounds amazing, but like, why doesn't he just go dum dum dum? Like, and that would have been fine. But just I think as a drummer, I was just like, that's interesting. And then he kicks into that groove. The drums sound great. And it's kind of got those kind of I don't know, almost kind of like mandolin-y style guitars over the top. And they sound really cool. So yeah, those two top tracks, just to go back to like what my favorites are, like they kind of remind me of this album, in a sort of nostalgic sort of way. So yeah.
Yeah, man. I think another one for me is also Summer Skin as well, which is the song after Soul Meets Body, third track on the album. Just very marching sort of. I think he's very much a big fan of like the Scottish sort of marching corps and all that sort of stuff, and with his sort of rudiments, and that's a huge part of his playing, the rudimental side. Just sort of got the kick with the dun 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 dun, and there's like the little fill at the end, and it just kind of stops. Again, no crashes, no hi-hats, it's all just kick, snare, and a couple of floor tom hits and stuff, and it's just maybe there's a step hi-hat, I can't remember, but it's just it's a great song. Again, another great bass line.
That was one I was like, immediately I need to learn out the bass, So 100%.
That's a real highlight for me.
Yeah, brilliant. I think my next one is one we've already talked about, which would be What Sarah Said. I think mostly it's a great song, but the drum part on that, it stuck with me. It's one of them, like, if you zone out from the album a bit and then that song comes on, it pulls me back into the album again, because I'm like, 100%. Oh wait, this is really cool stuff going on here. And I haven't done, it's not done much because I think it's a strong album, but I think it's definitely pulled me out of kind of distraction by hearing that strong groove. I think both the verse and that sort of interlude section are just fantastic.
I would agree, mate. I would agree. I think I'll also go Crooked Teeth as well.
Yes, that's on my list too.
That is probably. I could say that is not sounding rude or whatever, but it's probably the most basic, in terms of parts. But I think it just proves that he can. Yeah, it's not that he can't, obviously, but when he plays something like that, it still sounds so great, and there are still like slight creative edges, here and there in some
Yeah,
parts, but yeah, it's just
a lot of energy to that song.
yeah,
And I feel like that there's a lot of like every part works together so well. Like I've kind of written
100%.
down like everything just has its like place, and it just
Yeah,
captures this vibe which you just kind of think like this is how Death Cab sound. Like it's very sort of
exactly.
quintessential vibes for Death
Yeah,
Cab.
exactly. And again, like even in like verse 2, when it drops down to just the guitar and sorry, the bass and the drums, you've still got because it's very much a dun cat dun dun cat kind of beat, and he's even got the dun cat and he kind of accents a couple of off beats and dances around the bass, and it just kind of shows that he can just kind of play that simple groove, but just add a couple of little bits here and there to just kind of make it his own variation.
100%.
But yeah, so it's a great song as well, but it's a great way of that, really showing that stuff.
So I think I agree. I think that's probably my third favorite. I think little shout out to "I Will Follow You Into the Dark" being their biggest song.
Course.
I think it's a great song. I by no means dislike it. Maybe a tad overplayed, but maybe it's fantastic. Like if you haven't listened to any Death Cab, then that's a great one to start with. Anyway, just from beautiful songwriting perspective and guitar playing, chord progression as well. So it's lovely.
Great fun to play on the guitar as well. That one, classic capo, capo 5, whatever it is, and just nice up high,
Yeah, but, it's got like this lovely like minor. I think it's like a minor 4 chord in there, which just sounds so lovely. So it's definitely one to get into. And then you've got all this other drummy goodness waiting for you on the rest of the album as well. So it's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah, man. Well, there we go.
Nice.
What an album. Plans. There it is again.
There it is.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Quite
Plans
dark
and also pretty much a deep dive on many of the other Death Cab albums.
Yeah.
Do apologise, listeners, for us going off on many tangents today.
A slight, Jason McGerr dive we could redub this as well.
Yes, which is how it should be.
But honestly, we'll make a playlist, and I think if people haven't heard of either this album or just the band in general, or even his playing, I cannot recommend it for you enough. If you are looking to get into, players that really kind of are so creative, but also still play for the song, and if you want ideas to kind of come up with stuff, this is your guy. This is the band.
100%.
I'd say.
Yeah, we'll chuck the playlist. We've got some links, some various videos as well that we mentioned. We'll get that in the notes. And I've also, as I mentioned, written out some of these grooves if you do want to have a go at pulling them apart. If you heard any of the snippets and thought, oh man, I really want to kind of dive a bit deeper with that or learn some of them, then I've attempted to write them down. So just if you DM us, we can shoot you over transcriptions or links or whatever you like.
For sure.
Explore it a little bit more.
See the people playing it. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be very cool. If you do fancy having a go and tagging us, maybe we can do that. Maybe we can have a go at some of these grooves. And I know you've already played some.
I've not played them in years. It'd be great to play some of those.
Yeah, and sure. I think I really enjoyed the experience of writing down some of the grooves because it felt like I was getting all up close and personal with Jason's playing. And it just made me want to like sit on the kit and like be like, oh, he does this little tiny thing. Like I just want to like try and do that. And kind of these little things which are very unique to him. So I also advise if anyone does want to pull apart drum grooves, like that's a really good way to get to know someone's playing.
And to learn it as well and kind of learn from it,
to
take it all apart.
So that'll be great.
Well, there we go. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Jay. That was awesome. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting into some more Death Cab again because it's been a minute.
And then I think at some point soon Matt will hopefully bring his one. We'll do a deep dive on that.
I'm excited to hear what he kind of brings to us. I know he's kind of shot a couple of options. All of which I'm would be excited to listen to. But it'd be really cool to see what he kind of goes with, especially because I think I love for him to pick something that I don't know, because like obviously I know this album anyway, and I know all of us have kind of heard Continuum before, but I know Matt sort of said, yeah, I haven't sort of dived into it as deep as we did. So it'd be really fun to
get some new music
to do it for an album that I generally don't really know anything about. That'd be really, really exciting.
Yeah, 100%.
But we'll have to wait and see what the man delivers for us.
Yeah. So yeah, if everyone can kind of keep their ears out for that, that will be dropping at some point in the hopefully not too distant future.
Yeah,
we'll do another deep dive.
Yeah, and yeah, we'll be back as a trio next time. As far as we know, no other surprises. But yeah, we'll wrap it up, I guess. Jay,
yeah, cool.
Great fun.
Well, if you like what you heard and you want to support us a little more, then the best way you can do that is by listening to the podcast, giving us a 5-star review. That would be amazing. And then also you can pop over to buy me a coffee /Counterton podcast if you want to buy us some coffees on there. That will also help us out massively. I think that's. Oh yeah, we'll also be releasing this on YouTube. Well, this episode will come out on the 10th, so this will be out on Friday. And then the YouTubes will be out the week after, as always.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, nice. I think
cool.
That's everything. I know Matt normally does the wrap up, so I'm not very used to.
That's all the admin, I think.
Doing that bit, but yeah, there we go. Enjoyed that, mate. Nice one.
Yeah, thanks, man.
That was cool. And
really good fun.
Yeah, I look forward to hopefully catching up with all three of us on the next one.
Yeah, on the next one. Nice one. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. We'll catch you next time.
See you next time. Bye.